The federal budget for 2018 is now on its way to the president's desk, including provisions that set the stage for major tax reform later this year. Sarah Mock has more on what it means for farmers and rural America.
The Congressional Budget, which will likely be signed into law by the president in the coming days, may allow Republicans to complete a tax overhaul before the end of 2017.
A vote for this budget is a vote to provide tax relief for hard-working, middle-income Americans. So passing this resolution creates a once-in-a-generation opportunity to reform our tax code in a way that will move our economy forward.
But some lawmakers believe this budget could cause serious harm to rural communities by requiring cuts to programs they depend on.
On top of massive tax cuts for the rich, it cuts vital national investments, threatening our economic progress and our national security. It cuts more than $4 trillion in mandatory spending, including nearly $2 trillion from Medicare and Medicaid alone.
This budget will allow Republicans in the Senate to pass tax reform with a simple majority vote. But even some conservatives criticize this bill for what they describe as irresponsible spending.
The House version provided for $200 billion of enforceable mandatory spending reductions over 10 years and balanced within the decade. The Senate amendments gut these provisions, squandering the one opportunity Congress has each year to bring mandatory spending under control, taking us another year closer to a sovereign debt crisis. This is tragic, and I condemn it in the strongest terms.
The House Ag Committee chairman says passing the Senate budget freed up his committee to proceed with a well-funded farm bill, though it may push back the bill's timeline.
A question mark that's been eliminated, and that was the mandatory spending cuts were in the House version. Those have gone away now for the time being, and so we'll be able to move forward with the farm bill without having to take into consideration what we might or might not have had to do with respect to that issue. Still on track for late fourth quarter, early first quarter of next year to make that happen. Obviously, November looks like it's going to be consumed by tax reform, but we're going to be ready on the committee.
Conaway could not provide more details on what tax reform would look like, particularly its effect on credits and exemptions critical to farmers. But he would say that eliminating the estate tax, one of the few stated goals of the plan so far, will be paramount. I'm Sarah Mock in Washington for RFD-TV News.
The first draft of tax reform is expected to be released on November 1st. It will unveil specifics on how this bill could impact farmers and rural communities beyond a likely repeal of the estate tax.